Fandom Premium. I'm your host, Nina.
And I'm Kaylee.
And we are back to start Itaewon Class. We're going to be covering this new K-drama that is available on Netflix for streaming here in the U.S. It is 16 episodes, and we're going to be covering it 2 episodes at a time, which means each podcast will just include a very detailed yet broad discussion on the events of 2 episodes. And today we're going to be talking about the first 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. If you are a time travel subscriber, you already have access to us talking about episodes 3 and 4. And if you are listening for free, that's because we try to release the first podcast of a new show or season available for free, even if it's premium. So if you want to hear us talk about the rest of the season, as well as other K-dramas like Goblin and Signal and Tomorrow and Inspector Coup and All of Us Are Dead and Squid Game, you can head over to patreon.com/podcastfandom and become a premium subscriber. So we're going to get started talking about the first 2 episodes of Itaewon Class in a moment. Apologies if you hear puppy panting or disruption in the background. He's spoiled, and that's really my only excuse. He's in my lap now. He's quiet. We don't know how long this is going to last. Mm-hmm. So how did we come to watch Itaewon Class? Okay, I'm going to tell you. Please stop panting so heavy. Jesus Christ. Are you okay? Bless you, baby. You scared the shit out of me. So, my bestie, Sophie, and I were talking a few weeks ago, and we were, sorry, puppy disruption. Anyway, we were discussing K-dramas and, actually, before I was interrupted, I was actually going to back up. I had always planned on watching and covering this K-drama on the podcast, but I honestly thought Itaewon Class, we wouldn't get to it till probably next year, but just because I had other K-dramas in mind. And I knew we would cover it because even though I hadn't seen it, I had heard nothing but good things. So I knew it was podcast material. A few weeks ago, I was talking to my bestie, and she was just like, have you watched Itaewon Class yet? Nope. And I was like, you need to watch Goblin, because that's my favorite K-drama. And she said this one is hers. So we were going to swap. And it was just like, you go watch the first episode of Goblin right now. I'm going to watch the first episode of Itaewon Class. So some time had passed throughout the day, and she was writing me. And like the things she was saying, I was like, I don't know what she's talking about. Like, I was like, I don't remember that. Like little things she was saying about the first episode. And then finally I was like, girl, what are you watching? She was watching... she was on Viki, and it was a show, something about like the Goblin's Bride or something, and it's like 10 episodes, and the episodes are like 5 to 10 minutes. It's a very short show, so she just watched the whole thing. I was like, you're watching the wrong thing. She's like, oh, but I like it, so I'm gonna finish it, then I'll go watch the one you were telling me about. So anyway, so I don't think she's finished Goblin yet, but she was definitely getting into it. And then I watched the first episode of Itaewon Class, and then I did this thing where I was just like, fuck it, just watch it. And then when it's time to podcast it, watch it again. But K-dramas are a lot. Like this one is 16 episodes. They're always over an hour. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like, you know what, if I'm going to commit the time to it, I might as well just podcast it at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I put it on the schedule, and here we are. I've already seen 3 episodes, maybe. I don't think it's been more than that. Mm-hmm. And also, full disclosure, I have watched like Uncounty Counter. We're watching Tomorrow. We finished Coup. And I'm all caught up on Attorney Woo. So I feel like I have been watching a lot of K-dramas in a short period of time, to the point where when we rewatched these 2 episodes yesterday for notes, I was all over the place in terms of like characters and plot, like, because it's all kind of bleeding together in my brain. But yeah, so that is my history with Itaewon Class. What is your history with Itaewon Class? Just these 2 episodes?
Yeah, I remember, like, I think it was when it first came out. Everyone was talking about it, and I had a friend who started watching it, and I didn't know anything about it, and he said, I don't think he disliked it, but he was saying he didn't think, he thought it was overhyped, basically. And he said it wasn't as good as he thought it was going to be. So that's why I wasn't interested in watching it for the longest time. But then you said you liked it, and you said you thought I would like it. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, and
I am liking it.
there was stuff like that when I watched those first few episodes by myself. Yeah, so I was like, oh, there's definitely stuff in here Kaylee's going to like. So that's another reason I stopped, because it's not as fun to watch. Okay, so we're experiencing technical difficulties, and I'm not exactly sure why it's occurring. So in the interest of time and my nerves, what did you think of the 2 episodes? Like, did you feel like, oh, my friend was right?
No.
Okay.
Because I liked it. And, like, even though we've only watched 2 episodes, even after we watched the first episode, I remember thinking, I've only seen 1 episode, and I'm already enjoying it more than tomorrow. So,
yeah.
I'm really excited to watch more. I just like revenge plots.
Yes.
I like when characters, especially the main characters, are morally gray. And they just, they just want to get revenge.
So, I will say that I watched, you know how like we were watching those the greatest anime betrayals of all time, or like whatever. There was a list about like revenge plots, and like someone brought this up, like it was either in a video or something, and I do remember my friends who had seen this being like, oh yeah, this was like petty beyond, like this was like one of those long brewing plans. So I hear this is pretty sick when it comes to revenge. And how deep it is. So, all right, are you ready to talk about the details? So hold on. Really quickly, another thing I did not know was I knew that when it was on, like I think when it was still airing weekly, I knew that there was something about Black people. That's the best I can say it. I didn't know if it was like a Black cast member, or they had an episode about a Black person, or what. But it was something about a Black person, and I just don't remember if it was positive. I feel like it was like something negative. That is another thing I heard. So when I started watching this, and we get the cast doing the walk towards the thing, and I saw the Black guy, I was like, oh shit, y'all didn't tell me there was a Negro in here. Okay, so I'm gonna read off just the main cast, and
of the ones we've met.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So right now, in these first 2 episodes, we're going to be talking about the main character, who is Park Saeroyi. 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 Say, are you saying ye or e?
Well, I'm saying e for convenience, because that's like how
it's
it sounds.
Yes.
They just say it so fast.
Yes.
Saeroyi.
So, and we should talk about this now. I guess this is pretty, I can't even say how uncommon it is, but it's not common, because commonly, traditionally, Korean names, and this is not something I learned until I was learning Korean, I think.
Yeah. We were memorizing all members of BTS's names. We're like,
yes.
They all got 3 syllables.
Yes, all 3 syllables. And so, yes, that's the main thing. You will hear Korean names traditionally are just 3 syllables, and your family name is said first, and then your given name is a 2-syllable name. Sometimes you'll see things like in a family, they will have stop, Nico. The first syllable in their 2-syllable given name will be the same. So like it's like Soo Young, Soo Joon, Soo Woo, like, you know, they'll do this. You may see that. But again, the family name, your last name, as we call it here in the West in America, is typically said first. So the character's name is Park Saeroyi, right? Which is 3. So Park is his last name, and then Saeroyi is his given name, which is odd because, like we said, they're typically 2 syllable names. Okay, so we were talking about the names again, hard cut because my dog's an asshole. So yes, they're typically 2 syllable given names. Yes, and then a 1 syllable family name. So the actor's name is Park Seo-Joon, and he is the lead playing Park Saeroyi. He is going to be in the Marvels, which is the sequel to Captain Marvel.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. And he is also...
Is he like... Who's going to be?
Superhero.
I just like a main character, like
I don't know,
hero or like a civilian.
I don't.
Character.
He's a character with powers because that was just announced like a few weeks ago, and the image that I saw, the panel from the comic book of the character, showed them kind of sitting like crisscross applesauce, almost like they were doing yoga or something, and like their eyes were glowing. So, but how much he's going to be in the movie, I don't know. I've never heard of the character before, so I don't know how prominent they are. But also, another thing I know of him is one of the members of BTS, V, has a group of close-knit friends. It's 5 of them total. He met 2 of them, I think, working on a TV show that he did, a K-drama called Hwarang. Which is about these, I think they were called like flower boys or flower soldiers, but they're like these young soldiers, I think, in the Joseon Dynasty era of Korea. So it was a historical period drama, and V met Park Seo-Joon and the other guys whose name I can't remember. While filming that, they became close, and then they brought in Peak Boy, who I think is like a singer or a rapper in Korea, and then Choi Woo-shik, who is in Parasite, Train to Busan, The Witch, and some other stuff. So their little tight little friendship, 5 dudes, is called the Wooga Squad. I don't know who came up with that name. I don't know if it was them or fans, but we called them the Wooga Squad, and they just recently did or are doing a 5-episode reality show that's currently on Disney Plus Korea called In the Soup, where it's just like the 5 of them on a staycation type thing.
It's all on Disney Plus in Korea. We don't get it.
No, we don't get it. I've been watching it on YouTube, subbed. I mean,
Just dubbed.
Subbed.
They just dubbed over
some random
white men.
Yes, dubbing these guys. So that's what I know about him. And again, he plays the lead. I'm going to skip this person because we haven't met them yet. Chang Dae-hee is played by Yoo Jae-myung, and he is the villain, the CEO, the head of Jango, this food company, where I was going to say we'll come to hate him. No, we already hate him. And then this is interesting. So there's a character named Sua. Her last name is Oh. So Oh Sua, she is the love interest?
I don't know. I remember there was a point where Saeroyi said her full name, Osua, and it sounded like the beginning of Dope. I thought he was saying
Oso. Oso.
I was like, what is it? What?
Osua?
So I'm never gonna forget her name now. Osua.
Sorry, yeah. That's really funny. She's played, her name is just Nada. So I don't know, was she an idol too?
Or if it's just like
her stage name? Okay. And then this is interesting. I am actually going to say this is the last one I'm going to read. So there's Chang Gun-won, who is played by An Bo-hyun. An Bo-hyun played Pildo in My Name. So he was the cop / love interest in My Name, which is another K-drama that's on Netflix that we covered. And here he is the son of the CEO, and he's a bully and an asshole. Now, what's interesting, I just noticed looking at the credits here, is there's another actor, I swear I've seen him in something. He is playing, his character's name is Chang Gun-soo. So Chang Gun-won is the bully. Chang Gun-soo, I'm assuming, is his brother. And that's another example of the Gun name. They both have the first syllable Gun in their name.
He's gonna be all grown up now too.
Yes.
So many time skips. Oh my goodness.
But the reason I felt comfortable bringing him up is because in one of these episodes he is mentioned, and we see him as a little boy.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about how he's mentioned. Yes. So I'm curious. I'm very curious to see, especially now that you said that. I forgot about the ant part. Oh my God. I am not going to tell you who's playing him. You know him. It's someone you know. I'm not even going to say it. Let's just... Nope. No. You guys, I am hyped. So... I'm so glad I didn't say it. I just read the name and I was like, close IMDb. We're done. We're going to talk about these 2 episodes and we're going to watch the next 2 because I cannot wait to see her face. And I knew this and I forgot. Okay. So anyways, the show. You said you liked it. We're going to talk about the details, right? Okay. So I was so confused and all over the place with the show because it begins with, I didn't say the character's name and the actress name. We'll talk about it next time. But I recognized her as the lead in The Witch. Nico, please go sit down. The Witch 1. The Subversion, I think it's called.
The second one's out, right?
Yes. Well, yes.
Okay. So yes or no?
I mean, it's out, but we can't go see it because it's not out here. But we can see it because I got access to it. So it was a tricky question. You trying to get me hemmed up. The feds might be listening. So anyway... it begins with this girl in therapy and she's talking about like wanting to just like the pointlessness of life or whatever, and she talks about how her boss, if you know, when you tell him stuff like that, he would just be like, if you want to die, just die, like that type of thing, like stop complaining about it. And it turns out she works at some sort of restaurant because she offers her therapist to come in and give her some freebies or something like that. And I thought that was just such an odd opening considering we don't see this girl again until like episode 3.
I'm already in love with her.
I know. So we go back in time 15 years and that's when we first meet Park Saeroyi. Saeroyi.
I feel like you're putting like a Y between the R and O.
Because that's what you're supposed to do. But when you say it fast, it disappears. But I'm not letting it disappear. Saeroyi. Because it's se and then real, so it's that RL sound, and then yo, so ryo, and then e. But typically, that's why I was asking you how you were saying it, because typically though in Korean, when you have actually, the Y wouldn't travel. It has to be yoi, I believe. Yori?
We can put it in like a...
no. Like it's yo. No. Yori or rio. No, it's ri. It's the yo first and then the R, right?
No. It's
the R first
then the Y.
Nuh-uh.
That's how it was written in the subtitles in the show.
Let me look in IMDb because that's not how I have it written here, and that'll clear up pronunciation. Honestly, get out of here. Stop looking.
Okay, I wasn't looking.
Okay, they have here Saeroyi. Okay, then yeah, the yi has to go with the I because that's the rule.
Saeroyi.
Yeah, I want to see it written in Hangul the next time we watch.
If it'll pop up.
Yeah. Anyway, we meet him in high school. He's a bit... I thought he was a bit of an asshole at first, because one of the things we see is this girl who had a crush on him for 3 years, and he's transferring schools when we meet him, and she gives him the chocolate, and then he just walks away, or she offers him some chocolate, and her friends are like, what happened? Like, why didn't he take it? You've been crushing on him for 3 years. You finally got the courage. What happened? And she's like, he doesn't like chocolate.
I think this is like, it's never going to tell us, but I think he's just probably on the spectrum.
That's why he seems very...
straightforward.
Straightforward. Very straightforward. A type of bluntness that is usually can be associated with folks on the spectrum. Who are just saying what they mean, and they mean what they say. So they're not trying to say things with like underlying meanings or messages, and people are not typically used to that.
I saw a TikTok last night of a woman who has autism, and she was saying like how one of the things she hates most is being asked, what do you mean? And she just goes, I mean what I say. I'm like, yeah, like, I can see the frustration of that.
Because most people don't. He wants to become a police officer after he graduates. And his father works for this food company. It looks like at this time, they're like in the food packaging kind of business. Like they make like ready-made food or like sauces and things like that. They're like a food company that way, but I think in the future they now have like restaurants and shit, right? Okay. And so his dad is transferring to a new office, and that means they're going to have to move, and he'll be going to a new school, right? When we meet Sua, it turns out she's an orphan who lives at the orphanage that his Saeroyi.
No, you said you all again.
Saeroyi.
No.
Saeroyi. Saeroyi. Anyway,
I wanted to.
Saeroyi.
I was gonna say real quick.
I don't like not saying the Y, but go ahead.
I don't know. It's easier to me not.
It is easier. I don't like it though. Go.
I was gonna say the Osua. I thought she was the girl that we see in therapy in the beginning. Like
you did
like half of this episode.
She did.
Or no, like the entirety of the first. It was until the end of the first episode. You told me it's not her. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, not the girl in therapy. No, this is a completely different girl. So Sua is, and she's an orphan, and Saeroyi's dad company gives, like, they sponsor like this orphanage, right? Like they donate food to it and stuff like that, and he volunteers there, and they don't, Sua and Saeroyi, they don't get along.
Isn't the first
basically
meeting,
it.
like
She bumps into a homeless person and doesn't apologize, and he's like, hey. And she's like, what, you think that's gonna make you a good person, run around doing shit like this? She's very hardened, I guess, you know, but she does have a really good relationship with his dad. Right, so much so we're gonna find out later his dad does something very nice for her. So anyway, when he gets to his new school, he witnesses this boy named Ho-jin being bullied, and it turns out the bully is Gunwon, who is the son of his dad's boss son, right? And he tries at first to like mind his business, and he's gonna stand up and do something, and Sua tells him, mind your business. She's in the same class. The teacher comes in, ignores it, and he can't. He ends up hitting the guy in front of everybody. So when he's called into the principal's office, they are already treating this like there's no mention of the bullying. The principal is letting the bully sit in his chair and like he's like off. It's like a glass of orange juice there on the thing, and his nose is being tended to. So basically, the dads are brought in to mediate, and Jang, who is the bully's dad and the head of this company, he's like, look, they want to kick your son out of school, but I'm a nice man. So if your son get down on his knees and apologizes to my son, we'll just call this square. He don't have to get expelled, you know that. And the father, Sado's father, I'm just going to call him Sado. Sado's father is like, I mean, but Sado is like, no. He goes, I do not feel sorry for what I did. He said I witnessed a classmate being bullied and it made me uncomfortable. He's like, I couldn't concentrate on my studies. And then he was like, and the teacher wasn't doing nothing. He threw the teacher right under the bus in front of everybody. So he's like, so I can't. And even if that means, you know, being expelled or whatever. And at first, I remember the first time I watched this, I was really upset. And when he refused to apologize, I said, he is the biggest man in that room. But then his dad was like, I am amazed by my son. I can't believe he's mine. Like, he was so proud. And I was like, oh my God, his dad's amazing too. I'm so glad his dad had his back. So they go out to drink after. He's drinking with his dad. And his dad is teaching him how to drink. Because in Korea, it's like, it's a thing. It's not like a...
It's like a whole culture behind it.
It's a whole culture behind it.
Turn your head.
Turn your head.
Facing someone who's older than you.
The youngest at the table pours the drink for everyone else. The way he holds it, everything. There's like a whole order to it. And his dad is super proud of him. And his dad is excited. His dad is like, I'm going to open a restaurant because this is what I've always wanted to do. I thought that was sweet. And I'm going to say this now because I don't think it's in my notes. But after what happens to the dad, he remembers that day he was crying leaving the school. And he was like, I'm sorry, Dad. Like, what are you thinking? Because Dad's not saying anything. Mm-hmm. And his dad is like, you got expelled on your first day at a new school. And at least, all I can think is at least I don't have to buy the uniform. And I was like, oh. Because it was interesting because remember that morning, he was like, I won't have time to go and get it. Like, I can go get it after something. And he was like, I could just wear this. And he's like, are you sure? Mm-hmm. So that was so cool. He's like, so I don't have to go buy that shit. So his dad, Sado's dad, ended up, we find out he paid Sua's tuition for college. Which, okay, Dad. And then Sua and Sado end up getting a bit closer when she ends up like leaving something she needs for this exam.
I think it's her ID.
Her ID. So she has to like run home and get it, but then that means she can't wait for the next bus. She's going to be late, so she has to like run there. Mm-hmm. And he runs with her and wishes her luck and is even there when she's done. It's like her entrance exam, right, for college. And is even like waiting for her outside afterwards. And
I just remember being so frustrated because they were running so slow.
They really were, but you got to pace yourself. I was frustrated too, but then when we got to the end, I got it. I was like, oh, they were jogging. Do you get what I mean? You just got to...
Couldn't be me.
Yeah, you wouldn't have made it because you would have burnt out. You'd have been rush. And after like 5 minutes, you wouldn't have been able to do anything.
I would have sprinted the whole way. And I'd just be sitting drenched in sweat in my chair taking that test.
Yeah, she absolutely didn't look like she had ran the whole way there.
I think she redid her makeup and everything.
Yeah, she got there early enough to go in that bathroom and like clean up. So they bond, they exchange numbers, but because this is a K-drama, tragedy strikes.
You can see it coming from a mile.
Oh my God. To the point where when I was watching this episode, I actually sent a message to my bestie. I was like, if anything happens to his dad, I'm never talking to you again. 2 scenes later, his dad's on the hood of a car, being flown through the air.
Landed in the woods.
I've never seen an accident filmed like this.
Yeah, it was like right from like the behind.
I was like, the cameraman died. That's all there is to it. Because there's no way. Like, it was just like, it's like a bird's eye view. Not even. It's almost like you were... Like he was wearing a GoPro. And you're the GoPro. You're just watching this. Because it was so close and intimate. It's not even like a fly on the wall. It was like when he's like on the hood of the car before he goes flying. It's like you're there too. And then you roll with him. I was like, this is brutal. Why did they choose to... It's typical. Like, this is something I think you would see like in a action show or movie or something.
Like a Marvel movie.
Yeah, but like this level, I was just like, why are we like doing this? But this drives everything this character does from here on out. So I guess we have to see how terrible and horrific it is. At his dad's funeral, he learns that the police come and they've wrapped up like their investigation into the car accident, which was listed like as a hit and run. And this man came forward and admitted to doing it, and he's going to go to jail. And he's also offering a settlement of.
We don't know how.
They never said the amount. I don't know why. I think because I am watching my favorite reactors react to Sweet Home, that I have 30,000 won in my head, because that's how much he was left 3 million won, but that's only $30,000. About $30,000 in life insurance in that show.
Oh, that's
so
right. And
remember, he's like, how am I supposed to live off this? He's yelling at his dead family. But anyway, in this show, we don't know how much it is, but he's insulted because he's like, how could you even put a dollar amount on my dad's life? And Soo-ah sees the photos from the investigation and the car that hit Sado's dad and the license plate.
777? Was it
747. Chill.
Yeah.
Yes. And it is Gunwon's car because he was showing it off to her. Right. So she fucking tells him immediately. Like, she wasn't even like, I mean, and to her credit, it came out because she was shocked. Like, she said it when she was thinking out loud. She was like, this can't be, blah, blah, blah. But there was like a part of me was like, girl, no, don't tell him now. Don't tell him now. She told him. So you and I jokingly was like, where he going? He left the funeral home in his old funeral suit, ready to go kill this motherfucker. We're like, where's he going? He showed up at the school at night.
That he was expelled from.
Yes, honey. He showed up at the school. He wasn't there. He goes to the hospital.
Students were in the classroom. He just busts open the door.
And they were like, didn't he get expelled? What's he doing here?
He took one glance around the room. He's like, not here.
So he shows up at the hospital where Gunwon is there because clearly he got injured in the car accident. Now, when we watched this, I knew you hadn't seen the second episode, and we were kind of talking about like it towards the end, and I was like, I was talking about how she saved his life because Soo-ah shows up in with the cops, and they end up talking Sado off that ass because he's about to kill him.
He's holding a rock.
He's about to finish what he beat his ass, and then he's about to kill him because he was apologizing to him. He was like, no, you're supposed to go apologize to my dad, because that's what Jung said to him when he's like, you need to apologize to my son, like he's the one you hit, so you need to get down and do a full apology to him. So he was like, okay, now you owe that to my dad, but my dad's dead, so you must die too. Go tell him yourself. So in this scene, I was like, man, he's fucking him up worse than whatever little injuries. And I almost said that car accident, but I wasn't sure if they had showed it yet, because they don't show it till the second episode. The actual, like, what happened. And so that's why I was like, oh. Because I didn't know if you got, like, he hit him, like, he was hurt too, because he was drunk. Yeah. Okay. So, the second episode begins with the cops about to light his ass up, and then Soo-ah steps in front of him to stop them from shooting and talk him down.
He was ready to be shot. He's like, fine, shoot me, as long as I get to kill him still.
Everybody at the school talking. You know who I hope we see again?
The kid was bullied.
Yes, I was gonna say, because we haven't really
focusing on him.
Yes. And that's why I wrote his name down. His name is Ho-jin. So just if we see him again. They showed
his reaction to Saeroyi getting expelled. They showed his reaction to hearing the news about like, the rumors and stuff.
Because, you know, when it's a show where it's a lot of, like, it's vengeance, right? And you know the show's already set up, oh, fuck, like, whatever's going down, it was 15 years in the making, right? Like, I feel like typically they are able to pull their shit off because they have amassed she's eating his food.
Oh.
They've amassed a network of people that are willing, kind of like Kay and Inspector Crew, when you have people who are willing to help you because you've helped them. So I just feel like we're going to see Ho-Jin again. He's going to be like a lawyer or something. Gunwon's in the hospital, and then he remembers what he did. He was drunk and he hit his father. So Seto's in jail, and Mr. Jung comes to see him. So the first time I saw this, and he was like talking to him, he was like, I've always had great affection for your father. He was just talking. And I just remember thinking, what the fuck could you possibly, what do you... So when Seto looks at him and he goes, why are you here? I was like, well, he ain't scared. He is never scared of this man. And I love how even here and then later he says there's just something about him, like I can't explain it. And I'm like, it's because you can't break him. That's what that is. You know what I mean? It's, you can't control him. So Nico, can you go away? Go sit down. You are so worrisome. Come here. Anyway, so I always do this, and I don't think you, I had to just show you the clip because I reference things and then I'm like, she don't get it until she sees it. But he gets the talk. He gets the talk from Pulp Fiction. I told you, in Pulp Fiction, Bruce Willis is a boxer and he's going to throw a fight for money, right? And the guy who's paying him to throw the fight is like, look, you're going to get in there and it's going to be time for you to take the hit and pretend to fall and lose. And you're not going to want to. He said, that's your pride. Pride is fucking with you. Don't listen to your pride. It's like, you need to make this money. So whenever I see scenes like this, I'm like, see, that's your pride. And he told him. He was like, see, that's your pride talking. All this foolish shit you're doing, it's your pride. And you better stop. And your pride going to get you fucked up, is basically what he tried to tell him. So...
that's your pride talking.
It really is. And your pride gonna get you fucked up. You better relax. So then John goes, he calls in Suat to his office. See, I didn't get the nuance of this until you explained it to me. But basically, he's offering to also pay for her school. She made out good because she was like, my school's already paid for. He's like, you gotta pay for books and tuition.
Living expenses.
He's like, you gotta eat. You need ramen. So, oh my god, get his puppy plushie. I think maybe that's what he wants. All the way over there. Is that what you want? I'll go get it. So he was like,
I want to get up.
oh my god, I swear to god, if you don't shut up. Why are you like this? You are so fucking annoying. I swear to god. Go over there with your thing. So anyway, he tells her, thank you, right? He was like, I'm gonna pay for all this stuff. And at first she says no, and then she's like, what do you want in return, right? And he's like, he's basically, you explained it to me as like, he's paying for her college to say thank you for stopping him from killing my son.
Or that's what he's claiming, at least.
Right.
Like, we're not sure if that was his intention from the start.
Because otherwise, I mean, if anything, she's also the reason they know that your son... I guess no, because that guy still went to jail. Yeah, that's what it was. They covered that up. It was never known why. It never really came out who was really driving the car. Because that man still went to prison for it. So then... Gunwon is talking to his dad, and he's like, look, can we maybe try not being pieces of shit? Can we maybe let me just tell him what I did? Let's get this man out of jail. He was like, no. He's like, if you're going to be a little bitch, I'm going to go get your little brother.
I think, like, I don't think he was, like, willing
No, you're right. He wasn't trying to go to jail.
Yeah,
but he wanted to fix it.
He wanted
somehow.
Saeroyi to not go to jail, but then he's like, his dad was like, for that to happen, you have to go to jail.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh.
He's like, oh, never mind.
I guess.
That's where his goodness ended.
But yeah, his dad was basically like, you can also be replaced by your younger brother, and they're half brothers.
Yes, that's right. And they show the younger brother outside because Sua's so leaving. But he's out there killing ants.
But he's cute. He's little chubby cheeks.
Wait till you see him as an adult. So, yeah, he was like, no, that's not going to happen. Now kill this chicken.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. Strangle this chicken to death. Jesus.
Men are so violent for no goddamn reason. And then he did it wrong, because I swear to God, any situation I've ever seen somebody wring a chicken neck, it is clean and fast and humane.
Made that chicken suffer.
That chicken was like,
but also when he was like hesitating, he's like, Saeroyi, he wouldn't hesitate to kill this chicken because he's a man.
He's like, he'd have killed 10 of these chickens, but we'd be eating chicken right now if that was my son. Your bitch ass. Oh my God. And I love how, like, in the future, it's still happening. Like, he's still being, like, disrespected in, like, that board meeting.
Yeah.
So he gets sentenced to prison for 3 years, Sato. And then when he gets put into his cell with, like, 4 other guys, they immediately start that bullshit. Get on your knees. And he's like, why the fuck everybody want to see me on my knees? He's like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Who raised y'all? No.
I really thought he was about to fight back, but he didn't.
Well, he just took that ass whooping. So she visits him after that ass whooping. She's like, what happened to your face? What's wrong with your face?
Yeah, she said, what's wrong with your face? Because I remember thinking that phrasing was so funny.
Like,
what happened to your face? What's wrong with your face?
Fist kept running into it. Some feet. So she tells him how she's accepting the money from the company. And he's like, you're just doing what you got to do. And when she asks him what he's going to do, he says, well, I have a record now, so when I come out, I can't be a cop. I'm going to open a restaurant. But then when he talks about opening the restaurant, the music it changes from being like this uplifting shit.
I would say this is like probably my favorite scene in like anything we've watched so far. Actually, I just loved it. It really tickled me. I loved it. So like, because he started saying there's like a big library in the prison and he's gonna study.
He's gonna read the CEO's book. But
at first I was like, study what? Like, he's not specifying. And then he said there's an autobiography of the guy, the CEO. And then I was like, oh, that's when it clicked for me.
Yes.
And then
he's like, I'm gonna read and work out.
And then
Nika, will you go away?
And then he said something about, like, they started talking about him opening the restaurant. She's like, oh, you're going to open a restaurant. And it's like, it's so funny to me because that's not what he said. Like, I remember...
Oh, yeah.
He didn't say that.
That's right.
She came to that conclusion on her own.
Yes.
And so, like, that's when the music changed, when he answered yes.
Yes.
And it was like that creepy music. And I'm like, oh, he's not going to open her. That's not what it is.
No.
But then it just went back to talking, the music went back to normal.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, great.
Yes.
That scene was like something out of like an RPG, like horror game or something. I loved it. I loved it.
It was like... Sua's gonna remember that. A, will you stop biting me before I knock you out? So 2 years pass and he gets out. He's friendly with one of the main gangster that was in jail that was having the guys beat his ass. He's like, call me later. He's like, all right. He's like, you need a ride? He's like, I'm gonna walk. Like, how are you here? Right? Like, you don't know nobody here.
Also, wasn't he supposed to be in jail for 3 years? And I said
he was in for 2, yeah. So I'm guessing
so
good behavior.
Like good behavior.
Yeah. So he's out. Now, there was a really great scene where he goes out and he has some soju. And when he had the drink with his dad, after he got expelled, and his dad asked him how it tasted, he said it tasted sweet. And he was like, they say if you have a good day, the liquor tastes sweet. And when he got out, he drank it. It tastes bitter. And then he had a copy of Jung's autobiography.
Something like that.
And he says, I can beat him. But actually what it said was, 내가 이겨. So 이기다 means to win. And then if you conjugate it, 이겨요, I win. 이겼어요, I won. 이길 거예요, I will win. So he said 이겨. 내가 이겨. And it was just like, I win. But it was translated as, I can beat him. It didn't technically say that. Anyway.
It's so funny because I could have sworn, like, as he's sitting at the table and it shows the book.
It was normal.
There was no writing on it. But then when he leaves, there's like those scribbles.
He drew like a devil horns on him and stuff. And then he wrote,
X's over the eyes. I'm like, oh, he crazy.
And then like the person at the bar was like, you leaving your book? He goes, I memorized it. Yeah. So did you note too, when he was in the bar on the news, Gunwan had been in trouble for assaulting somebody? So he goes to Itaewon because Suah had written him this letter, be nice, talking about Itaewon. Sorry, I was talking to sorry, the be nice was for Nico. I'm sorry. Sit. You gonna get knocked out. You're too cute. You lucky you cute. You lucky you cute.
If you were a bigger, ugly dog.
If you were a big ugly dog, you'd be homeless by now. You'd be rehomed. You're so cute.
But I still love him.
But anyway, so he goes to Itaewon because Suah had written him this letter and telling him about Itaewon and how, it's this spot and it's happening and it's hot. Okay, so what I know about
Halloween.
It is Halloween, right? It happens to be Halloween. What I know about Itaewon is that I forget. She says the area in Seoul that it's in, but it's my understanding that it's super popular because it's close to one of the U.S. military bases. So if you're in other countries that have U.S. military bases, particularly if the country, their first language is in English, then around those bases, you'll find lots of places that cater to foreigners because when they go off base, they need to be able to do things and understand what's going on or whatever. So apparently this area in Itaewon is a lot of shops and clubs and stuff. And so it's my understanding that you see a lot of foreigners there, particularly people in the military and their families and friends and stuff. So, and because of that, it don't seem like a place I would want to go because I'm old.
I literally was just about to say, should we go to Itaewon? We could agree.
I would want to go to go, but I would want to go for completely different reasons. Like when I was your age, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna go party. I'm gonna go party and hook up. That's I'd be like, let's go drink, let's go to the bars, let's go to the club, I'm gonna go shake my ass, I'm gonna go shopping, all of that. Be out all night. I'm too old for that. I'm tired. I can't do that anymore. So it has not been high on my list of things to do in Korea, but yeah. So I don't know if I'd want to go during Halloween, like that, like a thing. If there was if there's a certain party, but just right for but to go out to have a good time in the evening, I don't know. I'd go for to go to a restaurant, sit down and eat, walk around, listen to music. Yeah. We can go to Itaewon. So anyway. But again, I'm not saying what I know of the place is the only truth about the place. I've never been. So that's just my understanding. So the way she was making it seem, though, I was like, oh, yeah. It feels like, more college-age people hang out there, too. So I'm just old. So yeah, he goes to Itaewon, and lo and behold, he runs into her. Well, she sees him.
And she's got this creepy bunny mask.
And her neck was 15 feet long, and that everything about that was so creepy. She sees him and immediately recognizes him. Okay, so they reconnect, and she learns that he is only in town for the night, and the next week he's going off to be a seaman for 7 years. He's going to be deep sea fishing.
Can we point out how much she looks like Kay?
Yes. From Inspector Group.
The outfit, the hair, her mannerisms.
Yeah. So she's like, all right, well, fuck then. Guess we partying all night then.
Oh,
This dog. Now the dog wants water. Oh my God. Hold on. Okay, so I don't even fucking remember where we were. Oh, so yeah, they're gonna party all night. He's gonna go in the next week deep sea fishing to. Now I didn't quite get this because he's gonna open the restaurant, right? And
he wants to open it in Itaewon.
Yes, and she's like, well, why are you going deep sea fishing? Why are you going to do that for the money, right? And she's like, well, I helped you sell with your father's affairs and sell his stuff, and you should have money from that. And he's like, yeah, and also he left me money for school, but oh my God, I just thought of how sad his father has no idea
that he's not using the money for
that school. He's not using it for, well, he knew that he wouldn't use it for school because but he doesn't know that he went to jail. Like he did all that, like his life. Oh. Anyway, so yeah, he's going, but he said something like, because it's the cost life and it should be more than that.
Well, he didn't say specifically it should be more
didn't he? I thought he did.
It's the price of my dad's life. I remember thinking, what?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. But when she offers for him to come inside, I guess to let him hit, I don't know what was going to happen. He was like...
She made a point, like, I got one blanket, one bed.
Like...
It's a one bedroom.
She's like, if your goofy ass come in here and talk about I'm going to sleep on the floor, I'm going to punch you in the face. Because that's not why I'm mad. He asked you to come in. Don't make me say it again. Don't come in here and play stupid. But he says, I'm not rich yet. She's like, all right.
Because that was like, this is what they said.
That's her thing, yeah.
She said, we didn't talk about it, but she said, she likes rich guys.
She said she don't fuck with no broke niggas, so.
He's like, fine, this is my
She's like,
dream to be rich.
So then 7 years later, she's doing well, working for the company.
Her hair is long.
Her hair is long.
You say you didn't recognize her.
I did not. I watched a lot of this whole scene the first time, and I was like, who the fuck is this?
They keep introducing new girls.
But she's doing well at the company. She has this mentor that seems to really like her. Gunwan also works for the company now. He ain't no good. His dad's still a piece of shit. And she's off to meet with
a building manager or something.
Yeah.
So she's off to open a bar.
Yeah, to have some sort of business meeting, and she sees Saeroyi opening his shop. It's a bar or a restaurant?
We don't know.
It's called Tanpam, which I'm not sure what. I know Pam means like night, but I'm not sure what Pan means. I don't know if it means something. I'm sure it does, but you know what I mean. Like, I don't know if there's an like obvious meaning I can look up, or if it has like a more special meaning within the show.
Probably.
Last night. Nope, that's not what it means. No. Because you know, like if you put something into search, it'll give you a result, something close to it. Yeah. So that's what it did. It was like, did you mean this? So kanpam is another way to say last night. That's not how I say last night.
Unless it means different, like last night referring to the night before, or last night as in it's your last night.
True.
Like those have two different meanings.
I would say things like 어젯밤에. 어젯밤에 is last night. 어제 comes from yesterday. Yeah, 어제 is yesterday. So 어젯밤 night a time marking part. 어젯밤에 지난밤. 지난주에 is last week. 지난주에, yeah, is last week. Interesting. But yeah, he's opening up his place like he said he would. So, and has it been 15 years?
It's been 7.
No. From the
No, it's been 9.
So, shit. We still got 6 years of that restaurant being open?
I guess.
Right? I'm assuming. Because she works there when she's in therapy and stuff. And that's at 15. So we are 7 years into the 15 ago.
Over halfway.
Over halfway. Okay. All right.
His plan's over halfway done.
So we still haven't met the black guy. Very curious about that.
The white-haired character. I'm in love with that character too. I don't know anything about them.
Ah, you mean from the cast walking in the beginning, right? Yes. Yes. I'm very excited for you to meet more of the cast. So, but anyway, so that's it, you guys. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. If you are time travel, you'll have early access to 5 and 6. If you're just regular premium, we'll be back next week with episodes 3 and 4. If you are listening for free, hope you enjoyed this free taste. Like I said, we cover lots of K-dramas over on Patreon. So if you've not yet subscribed, you might want to head over to projectfandom.com to see a list of all the shows we're covering, including our schedule, and then head over to patreon.com/podcastfandom to sign up. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.